So let's add a layer to this. A lot of times with polynomials, we just, like with the last one, we came through at -3, came up through -1, back down at 1, back up through 3. So it was degree 4. That was degree 4, and it had 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 parts to it, 4 x-intercepts. But what can happen sometimes is they can double up kind of. So let's look at what happens if we have, it's called multiplicity. Different multiplicities. So what multiplicity is for x minus c to the k power, k being greater than or equal to 1, k greater than or equal to 1, being a factor of the polynomial, certain things can happen. So once we factor it out, if we have multiple factors that are the same, this is what can happen. So if n is, or k is odd, if k is odd, the graph crosses at C0, just like we did with the last one, like when it was x minus 3, it crossed at 3. But what's a little different is that if k is even, the graph touches, but does not cross the x-axis. Touches, but does not cross the x-axis at C0. So, and this has a kind of a special word for it. It's called its tangent to the x-axis. And not just because of the x-axis, but anything that touches a point and then bounces back up, we would say that it's tangent to that line, in this case the x-axis. So that means it's gonna, we'll do one in a minute, but it would come down and bounce back up. It's gonna touch right at that point, but bounce back up. So let's say, for example, I don't think I'm gonna have enough room. So for example, f of x equals x plus 2 squared times x plus 5 cubed. Okay, so I mean normally we wouldn't start like this. We'd have to factor it out, get to this point, but just for time's sake, let's say we worked it out and we factored it so that it ended up being x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 5, x plus 5, x plus 5. You know, we kept breaking it down, and then we could rewrite it like this because there's 3x plus 5s, 2x plus 2s. So what do we have here? We have that the zeros, let's see what our zeros are. Our zeros are, what's going to make this 0? -2. So if I said x plus 2 equal to 0, x would be -2. So -2, multiplicity 2. And then the other one is -5, multiplicity 3. So what's going to happen at -2 is that it's going to touch at -2, 0. Here it's an odd multiplicity, so it's going to cross at -5, 0. Okay, so the graph is going to cross at -5, 0. Let's also look at the end behavior. Now here, just looking at it, we kind of have to think about, if I multiply these all out, FOIL this, multiply that in, worked it all out, if I worked it all out, it's going to be an x to the 5th, right? X times x times x times x times x. X to the 5th, positive 1, so that means that we have n is odd, and a sub n is greater than 0, so if you remember our end behavior we just learned about, that means it's going to start increasing, stuff might happen, and then end up increasing. So let's put on what we can here. So we know that something's going to happen at -2 and -5. negative 2, negative 5. So if I'm going to start increasing, I'm going to cross at negative 5. Something's going to happen here where it's going to come back down, and then it's just going to touch at negative 2 and come back up. Okay? And probably some pretty big number. We could figure it out, because I could plug in 0 for x, 2 squared, let's just do that real quick. How about my y-intercept? F of 0 would be 2 squared times 5 cubed, because if I plug in 0 here, 2 squared, 0 plus 5 is 5, 5 cubed, oh geez, that's going to be like 125, 4, 500. Right? So it's way up high, but it's not to scale. 500 way up here. Okay, so but just to see what happens. So odd multiplicity cross even, it's going to bounce, hit at negative 2, bounce back up. That's what means that it's touching it or it's tangent. So let's double check this one in decimals, see what it looks like here. X plus 2 to the second power over x plus 5 to the third power. So there's, didn't get it quite right when I graphed it, but see too how it kind of, as you get closer, it looks like an x cubed function in this spot because that had multiplicity 3. So it's going to come up, cross at negative 5, 0, and then it went up, hit a high point, let's see where actually, looks like negative 3.2, came back down to negative 2, 0, and back up. And then looks like we figured out, ooh, it jumped up really quick and it's not going to cross until, let's double check it, is it 500? Ooh, I can barely even see it, but 0, 500, yep.